This video I'm going to show you kind of the different blade lengths and how short they cut. Got my little ruler here, and my different blades. I have the smallest to largest.
This is the biggest.
Yep, so this is the biggest. It's a 3/4 inch HT. There is a 5/8 HT in between. The one I have is broken, so I don't want to use that one.
To nick him.
Cut him. Yeah, one of the teeth are broke. So then this is a 3F blade. And this is a 4F blade. 5F and 7F. So I'm going to go through the different lengths just so you can kind of see. Maybe it'll be easier for you to judge what length you want your dog. Right now, Benjamin is growing out from a 7F, which is this one.
The smallest one.
And that was around Mother's Day, I think I shaved him at. And then this roller, I don't know if you can tell, it's got about a 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch that is not part of the measuring part. So might want to take that into consideration as we're measuring. But right now his hair is
About
almost 3/4 of an inch to an inch long. So we're going to cut Benjamin out into pattern so I can do him as short as I want. So I'm going to start with this one. It's a 3/4 HT.
The biggest.
And this one's the biggest. And I'm just going to take it like down into this area just so you can see, and then we'll brush up and measure, okay? And again, we measured it about 3/4 of an inch long.
Now, when you're clipping a dog, some dogs can't have them be clipped without the grain.
Yes, with the grain or against the grain.
But poodles, you can go with the grain or without the grain.
Or against the grain.
Yeah.
And what she means is, you know, most dogs' hair lay in one direction, which it's all back and then it goes down. Poodle's hair actually sticks up. Yeah. So if you are clippering with the grain, you're clippering with the way the hair lays. If you go against the grain, it lifts the hair up, so the haircut might be a little bit shorter.
Yep.
You can go with or against the grain on the body blades and get the same or similar length. So again, he was at 3/4 of an inch here. This is 3/4 of an inch HT, and basically it's just taking off some of the fuzz. And I'll show you what she means about going against the grain. It's just going to lift some of the hair up just so you can get to, less strokes. You don't have to do as much. So I can go against the grain. Like so. Being careful. This is a danger area, so you need to stay careful. Yeah. So you can see I went against the grain, and now I'm going to take some more off just going with the grain. Yep. All right.
There's little line patches, says clipper patches.
So
now
you can kind of see exactly. I'm going to find a skin just so you can see. So you can see
it's now at least half an inch.
And it just took a little bit off. It's still about 3/4, but it just took it down to exactly 3/4 of an inch. That's, still pretty fluffy, nice plush trim that you don't have to scissor. So that is the 3/4 HT.
Okay. Next
is the 3F. Now remember, there is one that's in between these ones. This is going to seem like it takes off a lot of hair just because there is 5/8. And the 5/8 blade would take the hair down to 5/8 length. So the 3F is this one. It's going to take a little bit shorter, more hair off. So I'm just going to start the top again.
Are we gonna clip around all the way down to the 7 inches?
Yep.
Okay. as you can see, it seems like a bit shorter.
It is a bit shorter.
But
And this will
still-
probably be closer to a 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
The only blade I wouldn't want to go against with is kind of like the 7F, because that one will kind of it lifts the hair up a little bit more. But I'll show you, this is a 3/8 or the 3 blade again.
It kind of looks like you're about to give them a poodle breed.
Well, I'm working into the MCC, so I'm just kind of leaving. We're cutting Benjamin out into a show trim, so I don't want to cut hair off the areas.
The continental.
So,
The
the Continental, yeah. All right. All right, so that is the 3F. I'm gonna comb it up. I'm gonna take my thing here, and that is right at about a 1/2 inch. If you can see that, can you see?
Yeah.
So the 3F is going to leave their coat about a 1/2 inch long. And every coat is different. He has a nice plush coat, so going with and against the grain, it's going to be fairly true to the size. But if you have a thinner coated dog, is kind of sparse, then it might look shorter than what it does on him. So keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out what length you want to. You can see he's got a nice thick coat. Can barely see the skin without me. But if you can go like this and see the skin on your dog, then just know you probably have a thinner coat, and you probably might want to stay a little bit longer than what you would think, because the thinner coated dogs shows the skin a little bit easier. It'd be the same length, but because they don't have as plush of a coat, it looks shorter, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So now we're going to go on to the 4 blade. And Bubba, I know it's hot. And I'm going to take the 4 blade off. And this is just going to go a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing small patches for your viewing entertainment here. So you can see a 4 blade, still plush. Still is going to leave some hair over on the dog.
You can see the comparison of the hair that,
I haven't clippered yet.
and then this is the one that you haven't.
That I have clippered. Yeah.
Have.
So now I'm going to take the 4F, just kind of going against the grain so you can see. And sometimes I do it just so I don't have to brush the dog up.
Yeah. You can see all that hair.
Grabbing, sorry. There we go. All right. So that's the 4F.
And then next
Let's
is
see
the
how
5F and
long.
the 7.
And then, yep, then we go 5F and then we go 7.
Do you want me to put those clippers on the marble?
No, they're fine.
Okay.
So that's just in between a half and a quarter. So
It's a 1/4 of an inch. I think it's time to use the centimeter part.
we might have to go to the centimeters, huh?
Yeah, because
All right, so we're gonna move on to the 5F.
I know it's hot, bud.
I know, buddy. I'll finish up here and then we can half room.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the 5F, and it's going to take a little bit more. And you can see it doesn't take much more off. Just cleans up that 4F line. And this will probably be closer to a 1/4 of an inch. And I'm not going to go against the grain on this one. It does take it pretty tight.
Yep. Is it easier to knit the dog with the 7F and the 5F?
I feel like it's easier with the 7F in certain parts, like through here, through his armpits, stuff like that. Those are areas that get nicked a lot, and it's a lot of times it's because there's matting underneath there, and then when the clippers hit the mat, it pulls the mat up along with the skin, and then the skin goes in between the teeth of the blade, and that's what causes them to nick, to be cut. Sometimes we don't know it's happening. It just happens.
Sometimes.
But we try to prevent it as much as possible.
Yep.
Can't tell you when the last time I've done that. I was probably 30 years ago. So
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to start now. So this is a 5F. I just brushed it up, and I'm just kind of brushing out, going over it again.
It looks a little, it looks the same as the 3F.
The 4F.
Yeah.
It does. So it's a little shorter. It's still plush, but it's a nice trim. It's a nice length. That's going to keep them cool and short. All right. So here we'll go into the centimeters so you can see.
It's about 1/2 centimeter.
Oh, it's closer to it's about 1/2 centimeter right in through there.
That's really small.
So that's pretty short.
Yeah. But
And
we
now
still
we'll
got
do the 7F.
The 7F though.
So a lot of people like their dogs fairly short. 7F is a nice short trim. A lot of groomers will use this blade, especially if dogs are matted, to get underneath the mats.
Like sheep.
Yeah. So these things, I don't like to use the 7F. I like plush. So 5F is one of my favorite lengths. 4F was always used to be, but I kind of like in this length right now. But here's the 7F, and you can see the difference.
You can see the skin a bit more.
Yeah, you might be able to see the skin, especially if you have a short or a thin coated dog, right?
Yeah.
If their hair is sparse, this is the blade that you would definitely be able to see the skin.
Yeah. As you can see, you can probably see the skin right now.
Let me know that's catching. I don't want to grab it. I hold the clippers so that I can feel every inch of the skin, and sometimes it just grabs a little bit. So if it stops me, I don't keep going. I just kind of pull back a bit.
Yeah.
Like here, it just kind of stops. I'm afraid to dig, so
Yeah.
come in a different area. So
And that's this.
and that is the 7F.
That's all the lengths. That's the inches, Mom. That's this.
All right, hush. And this is going to be about 1/4 of a centimeter.
Yeah, that's really tiny.
It is really tiny, about 1/8 of an inch long.
You can easily see the skin.
You can see the skin,
without like
really having to work hard to see it.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's all the.
that's blade lengths. Might make it easier for you to determine which length you want to use on your dog. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll be sure to try to answer as many as I can. So thanks for watching.
That's all the hair he dropped. That's a lot. Okay, bye. Mom, say bye.
Bye.